are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to Unheard Focus Radio, man. We are here once again today. We have another show line for y'all today, man. We have a amazing artist. He has a project that we're going to be discussing. It's the Harmony Dreamers project. You go learn more information about that, theharmonydreamers.com. He recently dropped that project earlier this month, so we have a chance to get a little backstory from the artist himself, Byron Scott, and he joins us today. So how you doing, Byron?
Man, I'm fantastic. Talking to you from Siem Reap, Cambodia right now. I've been traveling in Europe, and I listened to some of your things. I really like what you're doing. I listened to an interview on Grow and Learn channel with you. That was awesome.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to be here, and I'm doing great.
That's
How
good,
about you?
Man, I'm good too, man. So that's one thing that I love about the show. We have guests from all walks of life, and everyone has a story. Everyone has their past, how they got to where they're doing today. So with that said, kind of explain to the audience a little bit about your music background, what inspires you to go into this field, and a little bit about your style.
Yes, sure. Thank you. I think my story is kind of a story of someone who never quit, never stopped. In fact, there's a song on our album called "No Stopping" about just not giving up. And it says in the song, there's only one guarantee. It never really says what that is, but the guarantee is that if you quit, there's a good chance it ain't going to happen, so you got to keep going when you're chasing your dream. But when I was writing that song, funny thing, I thought about some friends of mine who were in music that stopped and decided to go a different direction. And you know what? That's okay too. It's all about choices. And my story is one of somebody who never quit. I'll be honest about everything with you, man. I want to lay it out there. I was 64 years old when I released my first music album last summer. And I never stopped. I never quit. My whole life, I started playing music when I was 4 years old. And I learned thousands of songs, singing lead and playing rhythm guitar at first. And then all the different instruments I learned. I wrote hundreds of songs, and it was a long road. I played in every kind of music venue that there is, and then finally, I was inspired by positive lyrics when I was a kid. That was the thing. I would say positive, meaning songs with a good message. Like let's all just live together and love one another, but also fun songs with a sense of humor. And, I can appreciate other people's stuff, but I really, like yourself, I studied philosophy and spirituality, a lot of different things over my life. And the positivity, I believe, is very important. I like to say that sometimes, children might be listening when you sing your song, and they can be influenced by you. And so I think it's very important to realize that and to do things that you're proud of. And I stuck with that throughout my whole life. And I wrote a book called Balance Your Choices, which is also on our website, that talks about how to focus, like your show says, how to stay focused on your priorities and in different areas of life. So I guess that's the story, is that it was a long, long road. And there's, like on our website, there's some backstories for all of the songs that we recorded on another show. And there's a lot more information there. But the bottom line is I never quit, man. And I'm super proud of the things that happen. I say another thing, by not giving up and by just practicing it and just working at it for so many years, some things, it became so natural, like writing songs, that sometimes songs just come to me, it seems like out of nowhere, man, like in 5 minutes. And this happened to me, a song on the album called Summertime Memory. I was getting ready to release the album, and I was thinking, well, summertime's coming up. I should write a song about summer. And all of a sudden, man, I started hearing this song in my head, and I sat down with a pencil and a guitar, and I was in tears, man. I don't know why. I was bawling like a baby. The tears were just flowing, and this song just came out. Boom. And I wrote down the lyrics, the chords. It's like a gift. I'm a spiritual person, but I don't know all the answers, and I don't know where this stuff comes from sometimes. But I just say that if you stick with it, it's like you say, there's a lot of dark things that are going to try to get in your way. Or I would say distractions from being focused on your goal. But if you stay with it, man, there's some light that's going to come through sometimes that's just going to be amazing, more than you ever realized. So staying with it, and that's it.
You listen to Refocus Radio, talking to our guest today, Byron Scott. And yeah, I like what you talked about, with choices and sticking with it, because, it has to be tough being in the music industry. Everyone knows just how cutthroat it can be in that industry. So for you being able to make these projects come out, like the one that we're going to be talking about, the Harmony Dreamers project, is a ton of people involved, from musicians to singers, and we'll dive into that a little bit. But when it comes to just being inside the music industry and being able to pursue your projects, but do it on a level where you're happy about it, and you're not just looking at it like, oh man, here we go again. I gotta grind this out again. How do you keep your level of creativity and happiness a part of your project journey?
Man, that's a good question. And again, I'm going to be honest with you, man, that when I put this album out on the internet, 250 platforms and all sorts of things happening, we're still kind of new, but we've had like probably 1 million streams or transactions. And we're very fortunate in that way. However, I've learned some things, man, about, and I'm going to start at the end, that I'm going to say, you better do what you love, okay? Because what I learned is how flooded the market is. And here again about choices, okay? Because I learned that, like on Spotify, for example, where everybody sets the standards sometimes, I heard they get now like 100,000 new songs every day uploaded, and so there's a lot of music that never gets heard. Now, on the positive side, though, you can share your music with family, with friends, with people around the world, just like we have, like 1 million streams or whatever. But in order to make a living at that aspect of it, not talking about live shows and merchandise and things, but just with the streaming music and so forth, I figured, like, if you want to make $1,000 a month, you'd have to get about, I think, 25 million streams in that month. And then next month you're back to zero. And so the point is that, just like in the old days, very few people maybe are going to make a profit at it. So you better do what you love and stick with that. Because then I realized this, Shemaya, not only is the music market flooded, but when it comes to the choices that people have in your life, which is what my book talks about in the different areas of life, when it comes to having some free time, a couple of hours to do something fun, there's so many choices now besides music. Even though there's way more music and more platforms to get it, it's not just radio and records and jukeboxes now. It's like everywhere, YouTube. But then the choices also include podcasts, Netflix, porn, and studying philosophy and spirituality, or anything you want on the information network, on the internet. There's so many choices now, and more gadgets, more toys, video games than when I was a kid. And so people have more choices. And that means that's even less, maybe, although music can be played in the background. That's one nice thing, about music. People can do that while doing other things, even working. However, the point is that there's so many choices now of what people do with their time, that there's a lot of music that never gets heard. And so, other than maybe by a few people or friends, so you better do what you love.
Yeah, there's a stat out there. I'm not sure on the exact number, but basically, let's just say you're on the topper half if you're averaging 2,000 plus streams a month on Spotify. So if you're getting that many streams,
Really?
you're in the top already because, like you said, there's so
Wow.
many people out there and so many different songs that the listeners can choose from. Not everybody's going to be pulling 500 plus streams a month, and let alone you have to
Wow.
deal with marketing where you got bots, and that is fudging a little bit the real reality of artists, if they're being heard by real people or
Right.
not. So today's
Right.
world is
Right.
very saturated, to your point, and with that,
It is.
that leads to your project earlier this month. You had a video on YouTube from one of your songs on the project, "The Most Unheard of Thing." Kind of tell us
Right.
a little bit about that song and the video.
Yeah, sure. That's the newest song, and it was a real surprise. That's one of those magic songs, man. It's things that happen. Michael Stover, my promotion partner right now, who I think you know, uh, he sent me a thing. There was a documentary, a TV documentary somebody was making, looking for a song, and they said, we want a song that is about something unbelievable and astonishing, and I've never heard of that. And they said, clever wordplay that encapsulates the aforementioned. That's all they said. They didn't say what the documentary is about or anything. And so I wrote these lyrics because I write poetry and lyrics more than I love music and harmony, and I play many instruments and I love the music, but I love poetry and lyrics. So I wrote these lyrics and I said, hey, Michael, I wrote these lyrics like based on that thing. And he said, nah, they need a full song. And I said, no, forget it then. And then they reposted and said, hey, we're still looking. So I said, all right. And I recorded it. And then Michael heard it. He said, man, this is a children's market hit song for sure. And it's got a sense of humor. It's hard to write music with a sense of humor. And I like to do that once in a while, like the title track on our album, I Come From Earth. And so I sent it, I recorded it and sent it in, and they sent it on to the music director and I haven't heard from them yet, but Michael said, let's release it. And then he said, kids. So I was looking for the artwork and I saw this artwork of a bunch of animals hanging out of a Volkswagen bus. And I said, man, that's kids there. And then I just kept following the synchronicity. And I said, well, we need a video now. What are we going to do? Well, let's stay with the animals, colorful animals and colorful people, interesting, humorous people that followed the line. And it's funny, I'll tell you the line in the chorus, the most unheard of thing I ever heard of. That comes from Groucho Marx in an old movie from the 1930s, I think, called Duck Soup. And I heard him say, that's the most unheard of thing I ever heard of. And that's the chorus. And then the verses are just crazy rhymes that never really say, what is that thing that's the most unheard of thing? What is it? But anyway, that song came together real quick. 5-6 days, it was finished. And it's getting a lot of plays on Spotify, and like you said, I don't know how much it was real, but it's a fun song, man. Really fun song, and I think actually the lyrics are pretty sophisticated. I think adults would like it too. Unlike Baby Shark. Oh yeah, we were the first day it came out. I don't know how this happened, but we were number 1 on the UK iTunes children's chart, and number 2 was Baby Shark. I don't know if you know Baby Shark.
Oh yeah, I got
Anybody's got
nephews,
kids?
so yeah.
Oh my
I know that
God!
song by heart.
And when you hear that one over and over and over, and at least my song got some sophisticated lyrics, that the adults could really get a kick out of. So yeah, that's the latest tune that came out, and there's been, I guess, two or three songs after the album came out last summer, and that one just was, like I said, spur of the moment thing that I was led to, and it just fell together. So that's the most unheard of thing. That's the tune.
Well, hopefully after this interview, it'll be the most heard ever. So, when you mentioned the fact of having fun, that's the most important thing with everything in life. You're hitting the children, young market out there. So for this song, how important is it to to give those parents those options to have these fun songs that a lot of kids can might just grow up on and, go down memory lane. Like, yeah, I remember, because in our time it's like Barney and all these Power Rangers and all this stuff, but you're having content out there for families to keep the kids busy and enjoy some good songs.
Yeah, to me, that's really important. And I feel very fortunate that, a lot of people, like you said, involved in this project. And, even when you think about it, all the inventors that invented, the internet and software, hardware, recording gear and music gear, and the people that invented the internet, and keep that running, man, I'm so thankful. That's one of my main things in life. I'll say, is being thankful and just being a kind person along the way. And thankful sometimes to some people sounds religious, and that's all right too. I like different words, thankful, grateful, but appreciate. I think it's important to appreciate what you have and not always be looking at what you don't have. Like the next thing around the corner is going to bring me happiness, because there's so many things I'm sure in most people's life that they can count, if they have been blessed with, just even a place to live. And man, I wrote some of this album during COVID off grid in a travel trailer studio that was powered by solar power. And I lived on solar and propane for the most part of 2 years. And I tell you, you really appreciate a shower because you're very conservative with your water. And then you go fill the tanks and dump the tanks, come back out in the off grid. And man, having a shower, like now in Cambodia, it's so hot here, and like anytime I want, I can just jump in the shower. And I'm so grateful for little things, and so, yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to throw that in.
No, I think that's
I'm
important.
not sure how I got there.
No, that's an important point because a lot of times we can overlook the small details and we don't miss it until it's no longer there. So that's a good point. And when it comes to other songs, you have one song where had a ton of background singers, and I Come From Earth. That song, that is what I'm referring to.
Yeah,
and it has a special message. Tell the audience a little bit about the message you want.
Yeah, the title track, I Come From Earth, it came from an actual experience. People always ask you two questions, it says in the song, what's your name and where are you from? And when people would ask me where I was from when I'm traveling around the U.S., I would say Earth. And then they usually would laugh. And except one girl in a restaurant, she said, where is that? And that's in the bridge part. So it's a humorous song with a global message that, number one, we're all from Earth. We're all here together. And, whatever country you're from, whatever state, whatever city, that's usually what people mean when they say where you're from, But that was the message, is that we're all from the same place. And coincidentally, this was before big escalation. One of the first bass players that I worked with, all these artists from around the world, was Nikita Astrakanantsev from Ukraine. And then one of our singers, Anna V from Russia, Perm Russia, she's on 5 tunes and she's also on the title track. And so we got Ukraine and Russia on that same tune. And then after the song was finished, one of the things about the song, there's a question and answer part in the chorus. Hey, where you come from? I come from Earth. So I was pictured a lot of people singing, hey, where you come from? Girls, especially. And so I was having so much fun, man, bringing people in from around the world to play instruments and sing. There's 8 female singers on the album, on different tunes, singing octaves to me. I'd sing all the male vocals. And I just decided, hey, let's get people from every continent to sing on the I Come From Earth. And I started contacting people around the world. And there's 21 backup singers altogether on that song. And a lot of them made statements about the project, which I have not published yet. There's been so overwhelmed with so many projects, man. That's been another thing to have to deal with, just being busy, like so many people are. But got all these people from around the world to sing, and there's pictures on our website. That's one thing. YouTube channel is great for videos, for the music, and for some backstories. But our website has some really cool pictures of everybody that's on the album. There's, like I said, there's 8 female singers on different tunes that I wanted to match up with the feel of the song. And there's a number of musicians on different songs. And so there's pictures on the website, and it's really fascinating just to see. It's like a dream for me, man. All these people, they're friends now, that came in to help on this project. My mastering engineer, Louis Pacheco from the Hideout Studios in Las Vegas. Again, I was led to him by some strange circumstances. I won't go into detail, but he added so much to the final sound, and a genius guy. So yeah, all those people. It was an amazing project to do it, and it's check it out. Check out all those different people from around the world, man. And a lot of them have great projects of their own, and some amazing people on the album.
Once again,
I guess I also, I'll mention. Sorry, just my drummer Larry Draglin from Washington. He's on 80% of the tunes, and he was a big technical advisor, and we were bandmates since back in '99. So he's one of the other main people on the project, and I want to mention Larry as well. All right.
And once again, listen on Refocus Radio, talking to our guest today, Byron Scott, and you can go to the website, harmonydreamers.com. And before we let you go, you mentioned earlier about your book that you have, Balance Your Choices, Life's Compact Guidebook for Happiness Your Way. Since we're talking about happiness, we can close this with your book. Tell us a little bit about your book and how they can get a copy of it.
Yeah, on the website, they'll take you to Amazon. You can get a digital copy for 99 cents, I think, and now paperbacks $4.99. So on our website, harmonydreamers.com, you can find it. And that started, it was really about music. I was studying the music business back when I was 19 years old, and this guy taught me about priorities. And he told me a story about a company that used to hire. There was a consulting firm. People would pay $10,000 to tell them what to do in their company, and they would just have everybody make a giant list of stuff to do. Then they would go to the boss and they say, "Let's pick the top 10 things," and then they say, "Let's number them from 1 to 10. Now let's do number 1 until it's finished." And then then what I did, Shemaiah, was I started thinking, well, instead of one big priorities list for my life, what if I looked at different areas of life, work and play, body, mind, and spirit, or philosophy, and relationships, and my own self, creativity and balance, and then money and possessions. And some people don't have necessarily priorities in every area of life. Everybody's different, and it changes always throughout your life. But by focusing on priorities, and avoiding distractions, I think looking at the future, you want to enjoy the journey along the way for sure. But I think sometimes stopping and doing some planning where you want to go and looking at the future you're actually in the moment when you're doing that, and if you don't get too caught up, and the danger is just that sometimes the list just gets so gigantic that you feel like you're inadequate. You can't do all of it. But again, what's the one thing? What's the one next thing? One thing at a time keeps me going. And so the book is about, it's really about freedom to make choices. It's called Balance Your Choices. And it's about choices that people have and the freedom to think and be yourself. And you have to weed through it all. I've heard you say this on that podcast I listened to, and so, yeah, you have to decide and choose priorities and stay focused on that and avoid distractions. And there's a lot of shadows, as you say, that can keep you from the light. So you just got to choose one priority and whatever it is you're doing, it like I said, it changes. The life changes a lot, and your balance shifts when you have a new project or a new relationship, or you're in college, and then sometimes the opposite happens: is empty nest syndrome, and now you retire from work, and now you got a big chunk of free time. You got to choose what you want to do in your life, and I think it's good to write down things. I like journaling and writing down priorities. I know a lot of people are successful without writing things down, and that's fine. So yeah, that's it. I guess the book is about being happy along the way and deciding what you want to do, how you want to paint the picture of your life.
Once again, be listening to Unfocused Radio, talking to our guest today, Byron Scott. You can go to the website, harmonydreamers.com, check out the music tab and learn more about the music he has and the project we've been talking about. Watch the video on YouTube. You can subscribe to their channel, Harmony Dreamers, on YouTube. And also check out his book, Balance Your Choices, Life's Compact Guidebook for Happiness Your Way. I want to say once again to you, Byron, thanks for your time.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.